Hello. Good evening. I'm so excited for you all to be joining us tonight. I am Nomsa Khalfani. I will be the mistress of ceremony this evening. Thank you for joining us for Nicole's first, yes, I did say first, virtual book launch for her book, Pushing Through. This is gonna be a fun night, right? So it's Virgo season, so we'll be celebrating Nicole, her month, as well as her book. Um, Nicole is a dear friend, colleague. I affectionately refer to her as Cousin Nicole. So when she asked me to be a part of tonight, I couldn't help but say yes. And she's excited to share with you all her book, the inspiration for the book, and her message going forward. And so this is going to be a fun night. I'm excited about the folks who have joined us tonight. So let's get the ball rolling. I'm ready to get started. So let's do it. The community has showed up and showed out for Nicole. And tonight's special guests are some of LA's finest. And they will speak on the impact and timeliness of the book. And I'm excited that I know all of them. Our first guest, Senator Holly Mitchell, represents the 30th Senate District of California. She is a third-generation native Angelino and the proud daughter of career public servants and the protege of community leaders have instilled in her a passion for service. Mitchell is a mother and has devoted her professional life to creating California where all children thrive. And I'm excited to say that I met Senator Mitchell when she was actually at Crystal Stairs. And so it's been awesome to watch her continue to lead us, and hopefully she'll be our second district supervisor. One of our other special guests, who I'm also super excited to have join us, is City Councilman member Marqueece Harris-Dawson. He proudly represents the 8th District of Los Angeles and chairs the city's Planning, Land Use, and Management Committee. City Councilman Harris-Dawson has introduced policies that combat homelessness, create quality jobs, clean streets, and encourage community policing. Councilman Harris-Dawson also appointed Nicole to his City Council Commission, Health Commission. I should be able to say this since now I have her seat. So he also will be joining us. And then also Sister Sonia Young Aadam, who is Chief Executive Officer at the California Black Women's Health Project, the only statewide nonprofit organization that is solely committed to improving the health of California's 1.2 million Black women and girls through advocacy, education, outreach, and policy. Also a LA native. Woohoo! She's taken what she's learned from the corporate world to empower and advocate for Black women's health. Her voice and leadership is appreciated and needed. So let's move on. Let's move on to our special guest. So let's bring on Senator Holly J. Mitchell.
Look at those amazing graphics. Good evening.
Good evening. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you as well. This is very, very excited. I'm so proud of my fellow South Angelino in terms of her decision to put all of her business out there for public discourse, but how fortunate we all are that she chose to do so.
Yes, and you have a special place in her book.
Well, I have to tell you, I was so flattered that I was asked. I've never been asked to write a foreword to a book before, and she asked me to do that. And I talked to her about why me, and told her that she was going to have to give me a little preview of the book because I wasn't going to write a foreword on something that I hadn't read. And so I was flattered and honored to have been asked. And B, as reflected in the words I drafted for the foreword, I realized that her voice was my voice, my mother's voice, and the voice of so many Black women who have shared her path and her walk, and how important it is for us to tell our stories so sisters understand that they are not alone,
That's
and
right.
that they can visualize through the path of someone else their path out and up, or whatever direction they choose to go. So I was really honored to have been asked.
Awesome. And so you did the foreword, you got a preview. What do you think people should walk away with after reading the book?
I think people should walk away. Well, first of all, let me back up. You know, I'm a 3 generations of my family have called LA County home, 3rd generation
Yep.
Evangelino, and my mother was a Trojan. And I grew up hearing the stories of being, you know, a Black woman at USC
Mm-hmm.
in the mid 50s.
Mm,
Wasn't easy. There
right.
were quite a few Black men on campus because, much like now in many of our institutions of higher learning, they were athletes, but not
Mm-hmm.
as many Black women. Our family house was right on 39th and Budlong, so she used to walk to and from the campus. Um, and she'd gotten a full ride scholarship to UCLA, but
Oh.
you know, long story, family folklore, ended up at USC, and my great grandmother paid for her to go there. And so she was not happy being there because she wanted to be someplace else. But she
Mm,
always talked about her understanding of what the credential from what that university did for her, and opened doors for her throughout her professional career. And so I was reading Nicole's story. I thought about my mother and thought about how that campus and that institution changed over those decades.
mhm.
And yet and still read Nicole's story of kind of self-awareness and self-discovery on that very same campus that's right in the middle of our community.
Yeah.
So for me, that was an interesting personal kind of journey, just to think through the experience of Black females
Yeah.
on these predominantly white campuses, when we aren't the star athletes,
Yeah.
you know, being hailed and revered on these campuses. But I think, you know, what others can take away from her story is just the title of the book, Push Through,
Mhm.
that we don't have the privilege of, you know, crafting for ourselves the most idyllic scenarios, but as Black women, we push through each and every day. And sometimes I think when we've lost generational connections, you know, I had the privilege of growing up in Leimert Park. We were in apartment 9. My grandmother was in apartment 5, and great grandmother was on 39th and Budlong. And so I had that multi-generational, I think, example of what it means as a Black woman to push through. Um, and I am sad to say I think many of our young sisters don't have that privilege. And so I think she gives tangible, relevant to today examples of what it means to push through. And I'm very proud of her.
Awesome. Thank you so much for making time for us, for joining tonight. I know Nicole was so excited to have you do her forward, and even more excited and blessed to have you take time out of your schedule to join us tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. And I hope everybody, if you haven't already bought the book, get the book. Push through.
That's right.
It'll change your life. It'll change your life.
It will. Thank you so much, and see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Stay safe.
Now that was great. And so I want to bring another one of our special guests out to speak with us. And so let's bring on Sister Sonia Young Aadam.
Hello, Nomsa. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, hi, hi. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Of course, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now. Believe me, this is such a beautiful, beautiful moment of celebration, for Nicole. So I'm so happy to be here.
No, perfect. Thank you. So I know you read the book, and
Yes.
you
Yes.
you read the book. You are one of our leaders in the community. Um, tell me your reaction to the book and what the book in terms of timing and impact. Share with the folks out there what you think about the book.
I'm first of all, I want to say I'm just so deeply and profoundly proud of Nicole. I mean, she has accomplished so much. I mean, and if you read the book, I mean, you get to see sort of the trajectory, of her life and some of the amazing experiences she's had, some of the pitfalls that she's found herself having to face, some awesome accomplishments. We get to see all of that in the book. And I was moved because, there are many of us who maybe have a book in our heart or in our spirit. But for her to reflect on her story, which for so many of us, but me in particular, I mean, I was born and raised in South LA when we called it South Central. And, I could see, just in her writing, I could see the fabric and the richness of culture reflected in her writing. And I could see her taking us on this journey through the community where she juxtaposed all of her community experiences with her, her upbringing and her, her family life, and then her plans, for her own future. It's a powerful story that I think, really all young women, should read. And I know she has this favorite quote, nothing beats a failure but a try. And as I was reading the book, it's like I'm thinking about like somebody who, would try so many things, even in the face of being told, well, you really can't do that, or, maybe you should wait for that, or you're not quite ready for that. I mean, when you talk about pushing through, her book, Push Through, really is a testament to so many of us who can be inspired, by her own story. And, I run the California Black Women's Health Project, and, so our work intersects, around public health and, the things and the systemic issues that impact our communities. And, to read about how she navigated that world of her professional life and her personal life and the life of the community, and how she has found a way to echo her own voice and to reflect her own voice in those circles and spaces. It's truly, truly, truly important. I mean, she's an advocate. She's a fighter. She's smart. She's incredibly thoughtful, and she's pensive. I mean, and when you read the book, you can even like recall moments where she would sort of reflect and sit back, and and I call it like that double Dutch theory where we have to know when to get in, but when we get in, forget it, it's on. Yeah. And so I mean, I'm inspired by her book, and I want to share it with everyone I know. Like Senator Holly Mitchell says, if you don't have it, buy it now. Just make sure that this is on your reading list, and then think about even purchasing copies of it for the other, particularly young women in your life for the holidays. It would make a great holiday gift.
That's a good idea. I'm glad you said that. I'll remember that. I think you're right. It will be, the holidays are coming, so this would be a great purchase for the holidays.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And some of us are, still in relative lockdown. I mean, so imagine, you're, homeschooling or virtually doing everything in your life, send someone a copy of the book. I mean, it will certainly inspire them. And whether you're from LA or not, it's a very rich story.
It is. Thank you so much for sharing tonight and sharing your how the book impacted you and how you think others could use the book and conversations that can happen. So thanks for being with us tonight.
Most certainly. Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. Good to see you.
You take care.
All right.
So it's great to have folks from LA there. And so I think we're going to bring on our next special guest. So we're going to bring on City Council member Marqueece Harris-Dawson. See you, Sonya.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, I do enjoy this melanin popping off the screen. So, I'll take the free camera time. But as we are getting some things together, our next guest that will be coming up is City Council member Marqueece Harris-Dawson.
This is Sonya. I'm still here. I did have the opportunity to read the council member's endorsement of the book. And, clearly he was impacted by it as well. I'm not sure if his upbringing is in South LA or in Los Angeles. But, I could tell that, just from what he wrote in his endorsement that, the book really touched him, and he was able to, really sort of see the richness of her story, reflected in now a city where, he's a very thoughtful public servant. So
yeah, exactly. I know he's a Morehouse man. I don't know if actually I don't know if he's a native or not. And I want to say yes.
Well, he serves the city like a native. We'll say that. He serves it like a native.
Exactly. All right. So on the positive side, there are a lot of folks that have joined in. And because of that, we had a little bit of a server issue, but that's good. That means folks are out celebrating and showing Nicole love. Like I said when I opened up, folks are truly showing up and showing out, and the love is there. So I think we are ready to transition to our next guest. And again, thank you, Sonya. So good to see you, and I'll see you Friday.
That's right. You're doing an amazing job too, Nomsa. You got that bright smile, and I know that Nicole is like a sister and a cousin to you. So it's beautiful to see you, MC this great event for her. It's a celebration of her birthday too, so she can hear me. Happy birthday!
All right, I think we're good to go. So let me
take care.
Thank you. All right. Thanks for y'all patience. You know how technology goes. So I think our next guest will be joining us now. City Councilman Marqueece Harris-Dawson. All right, there he is.
There we go. We made it.
We made it. We was gonna make it happen one way or another. We were gonna make it happen.
Yeah, there you go.
See you.
Good to see you as well, Dr. Nomsa, and very happy to be here on the occasion of this celebration.
Awesome. Okay, and I'm about to have a fangirl moment right now. You have my favorite person in the background.
Wow.
And we didn't even plan that.
I know, right? This is I broke out all the vinyl because my very dear friend had a birthday Zoom, and since we couldn't play records, I thought we put up some vinyl so he'd feel like it was a party. So
all right, so you took me back to my purple bedroom. So that was a pleasant surprise. But thank you for joining us. I know you have a special place in Nicole's heart. It's mine as well. So why don't you talk a little bit about Nicole and her book?
Well, I was very excited to hear when Nicole was working on a book, and then frankly just knocked off the block when I actually got a chance to read it. I thought, Nicole Vick, public health professional, woman about town, South LA homeowner. I thought, we were going to get a very professional, polished book, and she went in, is all I can say. She went all the way in and dug deep and told parts of the story that I was very surprised by on the one hand, but on the other hand, rang very familiar to me because this is the way and the spirit and the energy that Black women have exemplified, and frankly, it is what has allowed Black people to survive. Is the strength and the energy. I call it the Harriet Tubman mojo. That says, when you can't find a path, make one. and you may have to take detours. You may have to do a little bit of sidestepping, but when you dig deep and you get that courage, you can get to the destination. And so that's really what I found in the book. You know, I was reminded of, you know, my mother's story and my auntie's story and my grandma's story, and then my great grandma, who I never actually met, her story. Sort of all those spirits sort of came to me when I was experiencing this story.
Good. Okay, so I don't know if you heard this when Sonya was on. We were trying to figure out if you are also a native. I know you are. Okay, we wanted to make sure. We both thought you were, but we wanted to confirm. Yeah. And so I think that's the other cool thing is, you know, folks who have grown up, California is home, LA is home, having one of our own, as you say, go deep, has special meaning, right? And I think just again, all the folks have come out, have demonstrated that. And so I know Nicole appreciates all of you all. And I had shared earlier that you appointed her as your commissioner when you got into office. And I don't know if folks know Nicole supported her race the first time. And I now have her seat. So I'm super excited about that. But what is it about Nicole for you?
Well, you know, I met Nicole shortly before I started running, you know, during my time at Community Coalition. She was a community activist, and you kind of meet all the community activists there, and was impressed with her consistency and her commitment to South LA. And, you know, there are a lot of people that work on their career, and I don't mean this as a critique of anybody in particular, but as a compliment to Nicole. They work on their career and they kind of go wherever their career takes. Like, so, you know, if the career says go to Wyoming, there's a good job, they'll go to Wyoming, you know. And Nicole was one of the people who's really committed to South LA. And, you know, no matter what she was doing, there had to be a place for South LA. And so I shall never forget, as long as I am in public life, Nicole was one of the first people to say yes when I asked people to have a house meeting at our, I think you might have been there, Nomsa.
I was.
A house meeting to talk to her neighbors about my candidacy for people who didn't know me, and like she did. And that was very good. And then certainly when the nomination for health commissioner came up, I thought about Nicole and called her, and we put her on the commission, and she fooled around and took over the commission. Next thing I know, I'm having to call her chairwoman of the commissioner. And so I really appreciated her work there and her pressing our issues there and making sure our issues were front and center. And then what every great leader must do is make sure that, you know, they leave something behind that's as good or better than what they were able to build. And she, you know, when I said to her, okay, your time is coming up, what do we want to do? And she said, well, I think I can get Nomsa to do it. And I said, well, you know, we're in. You're like, you gold stars all around.
Awesome. Thank you. So glad to have you join us tonight. Thanks for the patience with a little bit of the technology, but so glad to hear you, see you. And I know Nicole is excited that you were able to join us tonight. So thank you. It's good to be here. Thank you. Everybody go buy the book. If you've already bought a copy, buy another one and give it as a gift to somebody. It's truly a gift and a light in our city, in our neighborhood, at a very, very, very dark time. And we definitely need it, and it is definitely welcome. So thank you, Nicole, and thank you for having me. Awesome. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye. All right. Now it is time to bring on tonight's sponsor. And I'm so excited to have her join us tonight. I've actually met her through Nicole. So Miss Rochelle Hewitt is a realtor. She sponsored tonight, and so glad to have her be a part of tonight's celebration.
Hi, thank you for the introduction. I'm flattered to be here. Thank you.
It's so good to see you.
You too. Thank you.
All right. So I know you will be, so it's an opportunity for you to say a little bit about yourself and how you got to know Nicole. And then you have the pleasure of bringing our honored author up for the evening.
Okay, so Nicole and I actually had the pleasure of meeting her last year. I represented her as her realtor when she purchased a fourplex, and I was just immediately awed by her. And she's just so she was so casual about her real estate portfolio and all that she had done. And I was just inspired. And she was just somebody who had such a magnetic and positive personality that I just wanted to be around her. And she's just so open and transparent, and she wants to help the community. She has this amazing passion for community. So shortly after she purchased her home, her investment property, she ended up offering her own backyard to host these real estate events. So we started working together doing that. And then she said, well, I do other events. I get other Black business owners together, and, they come and they set up in the backyard, and I can say that she doesn't rain or shine. Her last event, she had to move that location at the last minute, and she gives so many entrepreneurs these chances to get out there and, just really get this exposure. Her heart is so pure, and she wants to see everybody succeed. She truly has a passion for, South LA natives, especially, who have a little bit more stacked on our plates and against us sometimes. She's so proud of where she's from, and she represents through and through in the best way. And I'm just flattered. I remember coming to her house, signing real estate documents with her, and her finishing up the book before it even had a title, before it was pushing through. And so I approached her and asked if I could help to sponsor this event, because I knew that she put so much into it. And we had these great plans, and then COVID happened. So, but Nicole, being Nicole, always innovative, she came up with this great idea, and it's an amazing turnout. And I'm so happy that she was able to do this and make it all work out so wonderfully. But that's Nicole, that's Nicole. So, I have my copy. I hope that everybody has a copy, and definitely grab a copy for anybody that you care about out there. It's a great book.
Yep.
And so now I'd like to introduce Nicole, the author of this book. This is her first book, Pushing Through. She did an amazing job. She continues to inspire, whether in person or in this book. Please check it out. Please support her, and let everybody you know that Pushing Through is out and available on Amazon.
All right, let's bring her on.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh my God. Can I just say that this whole time I'm sitting here, I'm like this, I'm about to cry, I'm laughing. I'm just like everywhere in this little space right here. So excited that we're actually doing this. I can't believe it.
Well, it's all about you. It's all about you. This is a testament to you, right?
I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I'm just so happy to be here. And of course, Nomsa, thank you, because I always, I bother Nomsa so much. I ask her all kinds of stuff. Can you edit this for me? Can you look at this for me? And she is truly my cousin. We are not related by blood, but we are related by heart. And that's my family. So I'm really glad that you're here. And thank you, Rochelle, for sponsoring. Yeah, I'm gonna let you talk, because I don't know what to say.
Well, all
for
right.
once in my life, I don't know what to say for once.
It's all good. We gonna get the words going. We gonna get the words going. So,
yes.
Let's talk about the book.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the book. So I didn't tell you this, but I'm gonna switch up kind of the Q and this talking section that we talked about. So I know we had some questions, but I decided, let's take a different approach. Prior to tonight, you had released your previous video of why you wrote the book. So I'm not going to ask you that question.
Okay. Okay,
ask some different questions.
okay, cousin.
In my mistress of ceremony role in my book, you know how they put their little stickers on there, they interview people. So I had to make sure, I was ready and I could do this right. So, you hear a lot of that, Black women, we're not good friends to each other, right? It's a lot of times it's competitive where it's about men or looks or there's not a circle to go to for support. And in chapter 12,
on page 5,
you go messing me all up. I'm like I had my whole professional thing all down, and there you go, Nicole.
I'm sorry.
So I was gonna say chapter 12, page 146. You talked about your fabulous sister friends in Los Angeles, and you were going through a period of really just re-examining career and next moves. And you think about the book, you mentioned having this group of friends. What is the value of sisterhood for you, and how has that helped you be who you are and do the work that you've been able to do and to also then give to others?
I think that sisterhood is so valuable, and it's really been valuable to me. It's been valuable to me in a lot of ways. The career situation that I had with, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And you all came to the house with food and chart paper and literally helped me map out my life was so important to me. Because I felt like you guys really cared about me and wanted me to kind of get to the next step, to push through to the next level, right? And I also think it's really important for me as a mom, because I think it's important for my daughter to see women working together. And so I feel like, all of you are honorary aunties to her. And she said that they're my aunts, and I can talk to them about anything. And so I feel like sisterhood is so important to me that it is about, of course, for me in a selfish way, right? What I need and how I need help and how I can come to you for that. But I also think larger in the community sense that sisterhood is also really important. The pop-up shops to me is an extension of a sisterhood, right? We're all trying to get together and we're supporting each other's businesses. I'm trying to create community where I sit. And I think that sisterhood has been amazing. Even in the workplace, I tell people I have been so blessed and privileged to have the honor to work in South Central LA for the bulk of my career, and to have Black women along the way literally give me a hand up as to get to the next step. So I think sisterhood has just really been amazing. And ironically, I don't have any sisters. Like, I have a brother. So you all are really part of my family. I love it.
And so why was that important to include in the book? And so it's like it is in the last chapter of the book. This chapter is called Self-Care and Self-Reduction, Stress Reduction. Why was it important to bring that out in that chapter?
I think there's a couple of reasons. For one, as Black women, we are stressed. We are stressed for so many reasons, and it plays out in our infant mortality rates and everything else that kind of happens to us in our communities. And so I thought it was really important to talk about sisterhood in the sense of self-care and the sense of community building to try to help women learn to live healthier lives. And I think the other reason is something you alluded to earlier, right? That the rumor or the sort of stereotype is that we just don't get along. That, I don't want no female friends. It's not the reality. At least it's not my reality, and it's not yours and the other women that are in our group. And so I wanted to share that other side, that there are plenty of Black women that will call each other sis and mean it. Not that sis and you're just trying to be funny, but like literally, what's up, sis? How are you? And there are many, many women that I call friends that are truly interested in lifting each other up. And I really believe in allowing people to help you and also in the same time being a help to other people. So it was just so important because I want us to be healthy. I want us to live. I want us to be okay mentally, physically, spiritually. And oftentimes our sister friends are that important sort of bridge to that next step of being a better person.
Awesome. I love it. That's beautiful. Chapter 9, you talk about when it all starts to connect. And there's a section in there, and you are reflecting on life, turning 40, and what that meant, right? And the time period of taking some time to reset. Talk a little bit about that and why you think it's important, and what is it about turning 40 that pushed you to do that reflection?
I think, to me, I've only been 40 once, so I don't know if I'll be able to go back and do it again. But I started to see life differently. I was like, 40 is nice. And I think you told me, Maisie, some of the other ladies, like 40 is fabulous. And then as you get up to 50, it's even better. So I'm like, I can say stuff and not care what anybody, has to say, or I can do things and not worry about other people's opinion. 40 is bomb. I'm gonna start just running my mouth. Like, I'm gonna say this and put this out here, like, boom. And that's it. So I think 40 for me felt like a good point to just stop and just take a look back and say, wow, how did I end up here? Mm-hmm. What factors came into play here? What's going on in my life right now? How can I meld all those things together? I talk a lot about this duality that I sit in. I feel like I've always straddled two very different worlds, right? And it was time to kind of try to make sense of them. And like, what does this mean to sit in these two separate spaces of, understanding things from an academic level, being a teacher, being that kind of USC trained person. But then also, I live down the street from where Nipsey Hussle got killed. I'm in the hood. And how do I marry those two things together and leverage that? So 40 felt good. And the funny thing is I have a wonderful mentor, Dr. Barbara Young. I believe she's in her 80s. And I was on an interview with her and one of the women from the Fifth Dimension. And I said that and they laughed at me because, they in their 80s. They're like, 40. I was like, why y'all making fun of me right now? But 40 felt good to stop and just really look back.
And why is that important? What message do you want the readers, the woman, why to make time to do that?
You have to. I think one of the things that I do a lot is self-reflection. There's a quote that I love. It's probably in the book. If I do not go within, I go without. You got to look inside because a lot of times it's really easy to blame outside factors. Well, that person did this to me. They're horrible. But you got to really start to think about who you are, what you stand for, what's important to you. And that self-reflection, I think, is really integral to, again, pushing through to that next level of becoming the best version of yourself. And I think a lot of us are so used to that daily grind of work, that we don't step outside of that and think about who we are outside of our jobs, outside of our roles as mothers or wives. And so it is really important to stop. And sometimes you don't know what to do when you stop and think and ponder. But just the fact of just maybe taking a nap. I know there's an Instagram account, the Nap Ministry. Go to sleep for a minute. See if something come out of that. Get a notebook, take some notes, and just really take some time to think. Find a coach, someone that can help you reach your goals. It is important to reflect on yourself. You have to. You can't. How can you be any good to anyone else if you aren't good to yourself and you don't even understand why you're here?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good message there. Good message there. So, the comment section has been a total love fest for Cousin Nicole. There's so much love for you in this book and the message from the book and just you as a person inside and out. And you talk a lot about folks who inspire you, right? And the inspiration you get from others. And with this love fest that's happening right now, how are you? I mean, you are an inspiration. You are inspiring people. I mean, I'll just be full transparent. I got 3 books in my head, they had paper, but I was like, look at my girl said she was going to write a book. Next thing we know, the book was done. We was like, no. So, but you are an inspiration to others. So how does it feel to know that you, just being you, are inspiring people in ways that you never imagined? How is that?
Again, for the second time today, I'm like, I don't even know what to say. And I think for me, I just do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Nothing beats a fail but a try. I just do. And I try to be what I want other people to be to me. Like, there's things that have happened to me in my life. I'm like, I wouldn't do that to someone else. And so I try to make sure that I'm never that person that's like, oh my goodness, why is she, ooh, she's horrible. I'm like, I just wasn't raised that way. I think my being, raised with my great grandparents and my grandparents and all those experiences has taught me to be a very humble person and just to look out for other people. That's just like part of who I am. It's in my body. I can't, it's not fake. It's not this thing. It's just who I am. And I appreciate all the love and support. And I'm always that one that wants to give it back, to people and just want to make sure folks are okay and trying to connect people. I found out a couple years ago, I'm a connector. Like, I love to connect people to whatever they need and try to help them out in any way I can. And it's just kind of just who I am.
And so my last question for you is, so as folks are reading the book and they get to the last page, they close the book, they put it down, what are 3 words you want to come up after they put that book down?
Action.
Okay.
I want them to move and move in any way that they can. You do not have to be a celebrity. You do not have to have $1 million to make change in your community. You can do it with what you have right there in your brain and in your heart. If you know math really well and there's some kids down the street, go teach them kids some math. If you know how to sew, teach sewing. So action, move. Don't just sit. We are done sitting. We are done with the complacency. Whatever you can do to get something done to help somebody else, do it. So action is the first one. I guess the second one would be hope. That we always need to have hope that there will be a better tomorrow. I'm getting emotional. This is the second time I done cried on camera. That first time when that lady with that website, child.
It's all good. It's all good.
The second word is hope that things will get better. I think we have the power to change the things that are happening to us as Black people in this American society, and I guess around the world, just as they have been done, they can be undone. And we have to have hope that we can do that. Think about it. I work in public health. Most of the time when things are going well, you don't even see us. But when stuff happens like the Rona and everything else, we're right in the forefront doing the work. We have to have hope that things will change, that we can get COVID out of here, that we can stop these social injustices. So I think hope is a really important thing. And then I think the last one is community. I don't know, if that's an action word, but it should be that we need to think about each other and stop thinking about ourselves and think about how we impact or how our lives impact others. So community, hope, and action.
Okay, I love it. And I'm gonna figure out a way before we wrap this up to use all 3 of those before the night is over.
Okay.
We have one more guest we wanted to bring on, another community member that read the book, and I want to say we're going to bring on Tracy Bivens Davis. Was she your first book purchaser or the first one who indicated they had read the book?
I believe so, and I believe she was the first person to leave her Amazon review. She bought the Kindle copy, and so I was like, okay, we got to have Tracy. I love Tracy, by the way. That's my friend right there.
Tracy is awesome, and so we're gonna bring Tracy out so she can share about the impact on the book from her reading. And so have a few words for Tracy, and then we'll have some call to action. So let's bring Tracy up.
Hi, happy birthday, girl. You look so
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you. I'm like, it's weird getting
Look,
dressed up in the house and sitting in the house.
I'm gonna have to move my eyes. I'm reflecting. My eyeglasses are reflecting everywhere. I'm trying not to cry. I didn't pull out my journal. Look, I didn't pull out my journal because I knew I was on the phone with you and I knew I was on the line with you and you was gonna say something I had to write down. I just look, now I'm just the Cliff, girl. You just got me.
Oh.
I love it. I'm loving all of this. Love. Tracy.
So look, thank you so much for inviting me. Oh, so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate all this queenness.
So you purchased the book early. You got it when it was on Kindle. When I think the Kindle release was June 1st. So you got it. There you go.
I did. I pulled it back out and read it again this weekend because I knew. I was like, I did. I knew. I said, I know I'm gonna see Nicole. And just some things about what she says in the book just kind of keep reoccurring for me.
Let's talk about it.
So I have been, 2020 for me has all been about stress reduction, self-care, just trying to figure out what my road looks like and really taking some time to self-reflect because, hey, we have nothing but time. And I'm so glad you went to chapter 12 because the first line in chapter 12 of her book says, push past your fears and do it anyway, right? And it reminded me like all of our experiences and all of our successes are like beyond our fears, on the opposite side of that fear. And a part of that is really trusting yourself, right? And so when I pulled out my journal, I was like, I'm going to be online with Nomsa and Nicole, so I know they're going to say something. Especially when I saw Sonya, I knew it. But I want to say I've been doing some professional coaching. And my last session that I wrapped up, the last thing the gentleman said to me was, in order for you to trust yourself, you have to push through.
Wow.
And I wrote it down in this book. I opened, and that was the first thing I saw tonight. I want you to know that from me.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So I want to say that your book really gave me an opportunity to really reflect. It gave me time to think. It gave me time to remember that the negative emotions and the overwhelmed and doing so much not only has been for my community, that I'm so dedicated to, I'm a South LA resident. I live in Compton. We got it going on over here.
Yes.
But to really accept your challenge to tackle those unfamiliarity, to really tackle those things that aren't familiar for us, to live beyond our fears has been so important for me. And I know that you talked about it as you were tackling your fear of travel and going into these spaces that were just culturally different than your own. But I think we really can apply it to anything if we really think about it. If we really push past all those things that make us so uncomfortable, we have nothing but success. And I think it's been awesome to see it grow and manifest within you. And I'm hoping it grows and manifests within me as I do my self-reflection as well. Girl, and I remember the meeting. I remember the meeting in the prologue. I remember when you were just so outdone.
I was sitting next to Dante. Ooh, and I looked at Dante, and he looked at me. You know how we give each other the look. We ain't got to say nothing.
I know, and I was so mad wasn't in the meeting, so I couldn't pass you to post it. Because every time I'm in a meeting with you, I pass you a post it like, girl. Like, girl, you see this, right? But I do want to I just want to thank you because your book reminds us that we are capable, that we have it within us, and that we can push through the fear, that we can push through anything. And I'm just so excited to have learned more about you, and to really support sisters like you who have stories to tell. So thank you so much. I so appreciate you and admire you both. Actually.
I'm like, can we do I need to hug.
I wish this is the time where you wish you could be in person. And I am a crybaby. People might be surprised by that, but I'm trying to fight back the tears.
Yeah, well, I don't believe that, no, sir. I can't. I refuse to believe that. I'm sorry.
This has just been this for me is just, I'm so proud of her, and just to look at the comments and to hear all that everybody has shared, and I know she sees everybody else as an inspiration, and she doesn't see how she has also inspired others. And so Nicole, take this in.
Yes, take it in. Love.
I have to come back and see the comments, because I can't, of course I can't see anything right now. So I guess I'll be crying later. I'll I can't see anything. But I'm very excited, and I'm happy to be here. And Tracy, I love Tracy. I love you. Nomsa is my cousin, my sister. I look up to Nomsa to the point that if Nomsa is upset or something ain't right, then something ain't right. I remember just a little while ago we were talking, and we were somewhere, and you said something, you got emotional. I said, wait a minute, I thought I was okay. Is she crying? Something is wrong. Maybe I don't feel right. Maybe I don't feel as good as I thought I did. So I think it's amazing that we have connected, both of us and the other women in our group over the years. We were professional. We had a professional work relationship, and it just sort of just melded into something else entirely that is over and above anything that I could have imagined. So I'm grateful. And I don't know if should I say thank you now? I have some people I want to thank. Should I do that now? Should I do that later? I'm just everywhere.
So before we do that, so thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
I love you both. Thank you so much.
You.
And happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
So, we're gonna be wrapping this up soon. So I do, I want to be able to do let me do a couple things, and then I'm gonna pass it over to you to do some thank yous. How about that?
Okay. Sounds like a plan, sis.
So one of the things that, and you all have heard it through all the speakers, but I want you to know where you can go get the book. So you can go get the book at Amazon.com. You can get it at BarnesandNoble.com. If you email Nicole at her website and you want a signed copy of a book, you go to her website, send a message, and then you'll get more instructions about what you need to do to get a signed copy. But Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and Nicole dvick.com. So those are locations to get the book. As it was suggested, Christmas is coming up, or a birthday, or just because. It don't even have to be a holiday. It is a book that should be shared. So get books, share them with your folks. Nicole, thank you.
Yes, so I want to thank everyone that came today to speak. I mean, it's always, you put something out there, you're not sure what you get back. And I was amazed. I got back yes every time. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So I'm just thankful for everyone that showed up today. I also want to thank my daughter. She's in the back right now, making sure everything is okay, and sharing and commenting and everything. She definitely has been an inspiration to me, even though she's my child, but I find inspiration from her. I want to thank Kim O'Hara, who was the book coach that really, you guys were like, you said you wanted to write a book and then you turned around and it was written. That was Kim, because Kim said, ma'am, I need a chapter from you every 2 weeks. I need a chapter. She kept me on task and focused, because you know how I am. Y'all know how I'm not, that focus is not my strength. And she kept me there. I also want to thank someone that I work with, Tiffany Romo. I always thank her because she is the one that put words to what I was feeling that day in that meeting, about seeing numbers versus seeing faces, how we see faces. I know you see the same thing, Nomsa, when you're working in your job. You don't see stats, you see people, you see community, and that's how we work and live in public health. At least that's how I do. So I want to thank her and just everybody. I love all of you. Thankful Alonzo is in a situation right now, and I'm worried about him. He's asking me how I'm doing. Are you ready for tomorrow? Are you ready? You got everything. Thankful for him. Thankful to this fabulous sister friends of South LA, to my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister-in-law. Love everyone. Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here tonight. I'm going to stop now because I'll just keep going around and around. But thank you, everyone.
Yeah, and I think also in the comment section, it also indicates where you can grab copies of the book. So it's on the, I think there's at the bottom, I think you can see the little banner across the bottom is in the comment section. And Nicole, I want to say thank you for asking me to be the mistress of ceremony. I'll do anything almost. No, I've pretty much done. There's not much I've said no to. And yeah, we are family, and I'm so proud of you. And I think Kim O'Hara said she was walking over to get her book signed. I think I saw that in the comment section.
Oh, she told me she's gonna knock on the door.
In the message, she said, I'm walking over to come to get my book signed. So I don't know how soon that's going to be, but that's what she said.
Knock on the door. Okay.
But thank you for the book and sharing your story that so many need to hear, for helping others push through as a reminder to get to the other side. And continued success. And like I said earlier, I know there are more books to come, so we're going to take in and celebrate this first one. But so happy to be a part of this process. And clearly you have moved and touched so many in so many circles. And it's just awesome at a time where people are broken, are angry, are trying to figure out hope, right?
Yes.
Trying to see where to take action and realizing the value of community and how to be connected. So thank you for those words, because I figured out a way to put them all together.
Yes.
And again, thank you all for supporting Nicole. Get your book for friends. Continue to support her in all that she does. And thanks for joining us tonight. And I think we're, this is I don't know if we got some going out music or whatever. Thank you, y'all. And I'm sure there'll be something else that we'll be doing soon.
Yes. Oh, and thank you, Pyro Media. Yay! Amazing work. Amazing.
All right.
Okay, he gonna send us out.
I think he gonna send us out. Thank y'all.